Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 387. Hopefully, you guys have had an amazing Saturday. I've had a pretty good one myself. Nice, relaxed, ready to go for this evening. I've got another great, amazing guest for us here tonight, Dabs for Dads. You want to tell us how you're doing and, of course, where we can find you first off?
Oh well, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. You can find me on Instagram at DabbsForDads. That's primarily where I'm functioning. It's pretty much, just I'm a self-taught photographer, so that's where uh, my page shines. I have a lot of content. I have a lot of merch. I'm an artist that turned grower. So I'm big on stuff, uh, to give back and yeah, I don't know.
Well, I definitely have looked down your page, and you definitely have some amazing work that you've
Oh,
done.
thank you. Yeah, it's all just kind of it started as just always personal growth, and I got to the point where I've probably been growing on and off for about 20 years. And when I say that, I don't mean I have, expert level 20 years experience at all. I it was on and off for a good 10 years because that's kind of the whole thing with the dabs for dads is like, I am a dad. Uh and it's the double life of having a job and this wonderful hobby as I call it, but I would, I'd much rather have been a lifestyle. Uh it's my favorite thing to do to grow. I love interacting with the community, sharing ideas, strains, everything that comes with it. And, I just have been trying to find a way to inject myself into the community with the best intentions that I have, for positive things for it, sharing knowledge, medicine, my tips and tricks that I've learned throughout the years. But I really only got serious about these last 5 years when I finally got to a location where I could. And, and of course, I'm from Michigan, so Michigan laws changed quite a bit in the last couple of years. So, we're rec legal now. So everybody in Michigan is growing now. I think it's pretty cool.
I love it myself. I never ever thought I'd see this in my lifetime, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And when fireworks became legal and then cannabis, I was like, yeah, there's no reason to leave the state now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I love it here. I think we have a pretty unique environment here. Super humid. We have winter for 6 months of the year. We can have all four seasons in a day. That's why, I'm primarily a indoor grower because of that. Not for any kind of like licensing or any kind of that. It's just my personal preference. It goes with the dad thing. I like my ease of being able to get to my tents and check everything out because it's very important to me as part of a routine. I think all growers can relate to that. You want to see them right when the lights come on and see what's going on. um Especially like, oh, I don't know if I've mentioned that, I'm also primarily a tester. I test for multiple breeders, and sometimes my buddies and etc. Sometimes I'll get some people will just send me beans, which is really cool. And so I got to the point where I almost got kind of, I gotta be honest, got tired of pheno hunting the, like one or two strains, like, because I primarily do like an enormous grow and that would be my supply for about a year. And when you only have the same, what was it at the time? It was like Purple Kush or something like that for a year straight. For the first couple months, it was fantastic. And then, you start getting tired of it. So I started testing in order to, so every time I do a grow, it's pretty much my first time growing it. I pretty much know nothing about it except the descriptions, on the packs, or they go 63 days or what have you. And I started really thriving in that because I enjoy the challenge of having so many different things at the same time. I currently have a mini pheno hunt of multiple strains, somewhere like 16, and I'm just looking at everything. I'm trying to collect them all and taste them all, and share the best ones I can find with the people around me. But that hasn't really got kicked off. It's mainly just been me testing and doing photographs and that for now. And but I think this year particularly, we're going to start the process of breeding and stabilization and all those kind of things.
Well, I appreciate it. You definitely came in with the right angle first, I believe. That's what got me where I got with testing in the beginning was pictures, quality pictures of some beautiful buds. Man,
Yeah.
that'll get you some places. It gets you some notice on Instagram. It'll get you some nods from light companies, nutrient companies, and of course, as you
Oh
said,
yeah.
breeders want you to test some gear. And
Absolutely.
it
It's
all
a
the
lot.
above helps.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I got really lucky, and because I wanted to stay secret because I started as kind of a guerrilla grower where I was very unsuccessful. We'll just put it put it that way. I learned a lot, and I started becoming successful later on. But in that kind of realm, you typically go to harvested plants. By the time you get there, someone chopped them, someone found them, what have you. Tree branch fell on them, they were seized, whatever. But I carried that kind of um stealth, or keeping myself a phantom. That's unfortunately the reason I can't show too much. But I keep the focus on the plants because I think that gets lost in our community a lot anymore. I think there's a lot of um the outside world on rubbing off on everything. I think keeping cannabis about the plants, keeping it, all about the integrity of them and making them stronger, more stable, being honest about what they are, these kind of things. And also within that, getting all the people around us all the information that they can, which is part of my account, is sharing, tips and tricks as much as possible. But I'm also a firm believer in experience. You know, you don't want someone to just give you everything, because then when things go wrong, you're not going to know why and what to do. And that's where experienced growers, are different from a rookie grower, a greenhorn. But it's important not to be scared either. Like, just do it, grow it, germ some stuff, see what it does, put three in a pot, separate them, see if you can get all three to survive, even though you played with the taproot, um, do all these things to get yourself at a high level for every aspect of growing. And I think it's important to share that enthusiasm and get people doing it, rather than, there's always a lot of negativity in our community. And I think it's partly because it's been made illegal everywhere. The government says it's illegal. It's given it just a bad rap. So even now in legal states, like for us in Michigan, it's been legal for a little while, and it seemed like it took a year or two before people could even kind of wrap that around their head that it was that way, you know. Um, so it's really exciting time in our you know, in our canna career. It's cool to almost have the, you know, the cage lifted off of us and being able to do a little more. And then once you see that, everyone just kind of relaxes and accepts it. You know, they see it's good. Now it's everywhere. Like it seems like every corner shop has CBD something or full spectrum this, and I don't know. I think it's a really cool time to be alive in cannabis culture, even though, you know, with everything else, this is the looking at the positive. I think that's what we got going on today.
Right on, right on. Yeah, I appreciate all the above there. You know, it's hard to, at least in my aspect, to keep some of the personality out of what I do, because I'm here every day. Actually, I've kind of went backwards with my what I show anymore because of the everyday thing here. I was, you know, more garden pics, more all this, and then it became, you know, where I was on this every day, and it kind of spooked me a little bit, to be honest with you, letting everybody
Oh,
in the
sure,
garden on a daily basis there. So I kind of
sure.
locked up and quit posting as much stuff as I used to. uh it actually kind of bums me out sometimes. I look at my page when it used to went from solid flower and plants for years to, you know, all of a sudden show advertisements and shit like that. So I do go back occasionally, some shit off, try to keep it close to it, the cannabis as I can, but sometimes it's hard.
Oh,
Sometimes it's
sure.
hard.
Yeah, I dude, when I first started doing the logo and all this stuff, I had his name was Big Homie. He was very prevalent in our industry. Unfortunately, he passed away this past summer to COVID, but he was the original artist of my Yellow Skull. Um, and he just really nailed that thing. And you can see that he did the same thing for like in-house. The main in-house logo is the same guy. Mass Medical has a logo by him. Uh, Tons, just tons everywhere you go. That dude's all over the place. So um yeah, it's kind of crazy because as soon as I started being known as this you know, as this face, the skull, it changed a lot. Then I started doing my artwork with you know, it started with 10 stickers is what I tell people. Is I you know, I got 10 stickers, we sold them, and then I turned that into 20 stickers, et cetera, until we've built up to what there is today. And I don't know, I've just always been one of those dudes. Like I was in a lot of bands way back, and you know, like the need to have a t-shirt and to brand yourself was like very very prevalent for me. I thought that was how I was going to stand out because, you know, I guess I didn't think much of myself at the time. I was just kind of like, I'm not going to be able to compete. You know, there's so many people out there just growing outstanding flower. They have these incredible pages now, you know, where it's just like singular trichomes at 20 times and just crystal clear imagery and stuff. I mean, it's hard to compete when you want uh to get some attention on something like Instagram. And so I just kind of gave up on that and just decided I'm gonna do what I want to do in the best way I can, you know, with the equipment I have. And I want, and more so for me, it was kind of never about being uh, the best or anything, any of that. I just wanted to show people what their plants really look like. So you know what I mean? It's like sometimes you'll see people's plants and they don't have the equipment to show off their plants, but I know that their stuff looks fantastic, you know. So I started wanting to show everyone what mine looked like, and then letting them know when I see their stuff and it looks good, telling them, hey, wow, your stuff looks awesome. What are you using? And then started talking to people within the industry, and that was actually how I learned about the equipment that I have today. I talked to Kurt Ice at one point. He's a photographer that does a lot of green Bodhi flower shoots, and he suggested the macro lens that I love to use, and it's really my only one. It's a Laowa 25 millimeter ultra macro, and you can find that almost in like every mount. Uh, Unfortunately, I'm not sponsored by them. That would have been awesome, but they're like $300-400, which is pretty good in camera world. But that's how you can get some 5x shots that are really, really cool. You have to do the macro stack thing. I've been doing that for about a year and a half or so. So it's still kind of, believe it or not, I'm very much in my infancy of photography stuff, because that was not my primary thing. I just kind of fell into it because I knew I had to, in order to get good shots of the flower. And so luckily these guys have given me the time of day, which has been really eye-opening. There is a lot of good dudes, a lot of good gals in our industry. If you if you go at them correct, you'll be okay. I can't that's my only downfall with the Instagram platform, is holy moly, there's a lot of stuff, people with their hands out, and very, very negative stuff and whatever. But for the most part, I'll say like 99% of what I've had to deal with has been pretty awesome. We've all had our bumps and stuff, but I keep pushing forward. I've had my account deleted 4 or 5 times, and I just decided I'm not gonna go private anymore. I'm just keeping it public. Like, go ahead, keep deleting it. I'll just make another one, because I don't really need that one, as long as I can share tips from any account. So it kind of doesn't matter to me. You know, that's about the only downfall with only that. That's, I can't wait for something more where people can interact, and we can share cuttings and like actually drive them and not have to ship them in the mail, without being worried. That'd be really cool, but we'll see.
We're definitely getting to that stage, I think, very quickly, to be honest with you. There's good communities like this one, and Michigan in general is a great cannabis community.
Yeah.
As far as spreading knowledge with each other, and genes, genetics, uh, definitely a lot of stuff floating around, good stuff floating around the Michigan area.
Yeah. We have a lot of new breeders too. I don't know if you've noticed that. There's a lot of Michigan talent, especially this year. Cosmic Wisdom is a new one. And I think AB Seeds is another Michigan breeder. And it seems like every time I turn around, there's another one. It's pretty cool. And I think everybody knows, like, I would say one of our more known, Mr. Gromer from Thug Pug. It seems like he's working again. So pretty cool. I'm happy to see so many people trying to spread what they enjoy the most. And it's like you said, man, we're in a good spot.
So, what led you to cannabis, if you don't mind me asking? When was the first time you actually was introduced with one?
Oh, well, yeah, I had an older sibling, and I remember they were so nice to introduce like cigarettes to me, and then another day they handed a joint to me and just just said, be cool, just treat it like. So I didn't even, it's kind of messed up, but I didn't even know what it was. But I remember, it was that first time high. uh I was blown away. And then years later, I had anxiety and all that kind of stuff, pretty much from just the crushing weight of being a human. But uh yeah. So later on I remember craving it and I didn't really know what it was, and then I got some more pot again and I realized that that was definitely it. And then years later we started having um the medical cards, and there was always good stuff floating over from Canada, it seemed like, or it was just around. uh I just I just started, I was always into it. It wasn't an all day thing. I was just always like to relax that way. And then the prices went through the roof, and people were so um app to give you just some shitty stuff, like Brussels sprouts or whatever, microgreens. I think we've all been there before, but I stopped wanting to deal with it. So I figured growing was the best way. I was really young. I want to say I was around like 13 when I started playing around with seeds, and I was kind of like, I just want to grow my own. It probably wasn't until 15 or 16 when I actually started getting decent plants. Um, and it's been a lifelong thing pretty much ever since. It's just always been, it's been my medicine. It's been my relaxation. It's been my creativity, my pain relief. Uh, I have back issues. I have a laborious job in my day life, and so yeah. And now I'm just kind of, now it's just growing even more, man. It's turning into something else now. Now I'm wanting to make stuff for other people. Um, I think I'm pretty known for doing some like full spectrum lotions and stuff that are very pain relieving. Because I have a ripped disc in my back, and I actually made my own topical for myself and used just a ridiculous amount of flour and some oil, and it works. So then I started sharing it with other people, and that's blown up too. That's gotten pretty outrageous, and people are finding relief. And um I think that's my favorite, definitely by far my favorite part of being in the industry, getting the thank you notes or the thank you letters, like, wow, man, I was able to go through the whole day without this, this pill or whatever. I didn't even need a lidocaine patch. I didn't need nothing, you know, that's what makes it really cool. Um, I think we can all agree, anyone that's ever provided medicine for anybody else, that's it right there. Um, that there's no greater high than helping everyone else. So
I definitely agree with that. It's probably one of the most gratifying things you can.
oh, for sure, man. But as I was saying, as I used to be an artist, and or I am an artist, and that was why I don't know how long or how much of my page you've seen or whatever, but I have a ridiculous amount of merch, and it was really just, I wanted to create stuff for myself. It was like back to that like band thing, making marketing for yourself. It seems to be like what it is now anymore. um you have to have a logo and a thing to even be noticed, it seems like. I think it's kind of an unspoken thing right now, but that's just kind of what everyone's seems to be gravitating towards. You get yourself a logo or a name, and go with that and make some merch, some stickers, and get your name out there, trade slaps. It's a, I don't know. Some people don't enjoy it, but I think it's really, really cool. I'm definitely all about that. Having your friends slaps in your tent. I mean, why not? You're already having fun. Might as well bring your buddies in there and build each other up. That's kind of what I always think it's about.
I agree. I love fucking putting slaps up. Uh,
Yeah.
all my hoods have slaps. All my hoods have slaps. I got slaps everywhere I can put slaps. Ugh.
Absolutely.
Um, so what was the first look grow like? I mean, other than the outside, the gorilla growth, what was the first end when you brought things indoors? I mean, how'd you come in? Uh,
Oh,
what was what that initial setup look like?
I think one of my first grow where I decided I'm going inside. I was tired of, rainwater ruining harvest. Michigan's very, very humid, very rainy in our fall. And if you're not set up, you can get some serious bud rot. But um I moved in with just like, I think I got one of those like 2x4, Vivio Sun tents. I didn't get one of those kits. I had read a bunch or heard a bunch that you didn't want the kit because usually half the stuff in there is kind of poor quality, be it a fan or what I'm talking about, like where it comes a fan, a light, the tent, some pots, whatever. Um, I bought like just the 2x4, and then I think I got one of those cheap Chinese Burple lights that's like says it's 2,000 watts and it actually runs like 250. And I think I bought at the time. I remember seed banks were very difficult. Um, you're sometimes you're having to buy like overseas stuff. It seemed like, or just your buddy's bag seed. But I ended up going with getting stuff from like Amsterdam. I think it was AMS at the time, and wait. I think it took like a month and a half for them things to show up, and it was back when everything was decoyed, so you'd be in like a little toy or whatever because people are still worried. And um, I grew like 6 plants, I think, in some fox farm, some ocean forest, and it went okay. It really did. Um, but I had a lot of water issues because I was using well water and it wasn't getting filtered real good. So, but so that it would happen, it would build up, and by the time you would get into flower, like you'd start seeing the little, brown dead spots randomly showing up and a little bit of claw going on. And at the time, I was just so damn excited that flower was growing. I never even noticed that the leaves talk to you and tell you what to do. I just was excited that weed was on it. And I would say that my first handful of grows probably looked like that one. um with improper drying, didn't know how to do anything until I think I got a hold of like a Jorge Cervantes DVD or something like that, and then that like blew the doors off. Then I started doing I was completing some decent looking flower, not wasn't high end by any means because it's still the lights were really, really lacking, and they would get some of that bleaching, because it would be such hot spots. And uh and then everyone at the time has the best lights, right? So I had no idea. You buy this light, and everyone says you should have bought that light, and back and forth. And before you know it, you got like 9 of them. Now you're trying to get rid of them just to now because now you want a big, like for me it was a HLG 650. All of a sudden I gotta have that, and then It never ends, man. But yeah, my first grow was okay. Yeah, before, I think, even maybe even before that, I did like a closet, just a one plant in a closet. I germed like 12 and only one lived, and it happened to be female, and like a 110 HPS, I think, in a closet. That was actually my very first indoor anything. Uh and that one went okay. That one looked really, really good.
So, what were some of the strains you were growing that went back then?
Oh, what the heck were they? I think one was called Supernova. Um, then there was another Shiva. Um, I want to say there was they hit, I think they called it like Blueberry 420, and just kind of weird stuff like that. And then I think I found like a White Widow Extreme is what it was called. And they were all, to be honest, dude, they're pretty bland. Everything was tasted the same. It was probably a combination of the grower error and just environmental, being just real subpar. Um, I got by with just the bare minimum of everything. It wanted air movement, so I put like a fan blowing air as an intake. Didn't have a real air exchange or anything like that. So the grows always suffered until I decided to kind of buckle down, save my money, figure out everything that I actually want and make sure that I want it and not someone's telling me to do it. And then my growth started succeeding. But I also went from, I used to do a lot of nutrients in my stuff, and then in the last, like, 3 years, I've switched to full living soil or super soil or no-till. Those are my preferred methods now, and I haven't looked back. It's been, for me, especially, being a dad, having a lot going on. The super soil has been really awesome. The kind of, like Soham or like Michigan M3, the water only. I do some amendments and stuff like that if I'm seeing something lacking, or I want to add my own stuff. Um, compost, etc. Because I kind of have a little farm going, so I use a lot of that stuff for compost and making teas, and primarily my a lot of stuff goes to my vegetable garden, but I do use a lot of the like chicken shit and stuff for my teas, and they cook for about a year. And uh yeah, man, that's
So, do you got the worm bin going? Actually, are you feeding some of that chicken shit to the worms and some of the other stuff?
oh
That's one
I
of the things I'm hope to get into this year.
Yeah, I've looked it up a lot, man, and I'm not sure about it. A lot of them, I'll just grab them from outside in my compost area. They're just like riddled. Um, but yeah, I do have the same kind of desire to do it. I like having everything in house, at my disposal. I make, if I can.
Yeah, I agree. Anything that I can do myself, unfortunately, I tried to do myself. And it's another quality factor as well.
Yeah.
And I never even realized it up until as of late. I interviewed Talkin, this guy at a show, and he was talking about just basically mixing it in with the water, not even making a tea out of it. If you didn't have time to put it in a sock or whatever and brew it out, to just kind of slurry it up in the water and feed it that way. And I
Mhm.
did that a couple of times, and I never realized, how much of the castings were actually like sand and shit. You know what I mean?
Oh,
In
no
the
kidding.
shit.
Yeah.
And then I it kind of hit me to the point. Well, I'm buying this by the way. Companies try to cut corners every way they can. You know what I mean? Is it
Yeah.
is sand purposely maybe fed to them, or a heavier diet just for sales purposes? So that was one of the things that I kind of thought, well, maybe
Yeah,
as
sure.
well as getting rid of lightening my footprint at home. If I can get rid of papers and some stuff that they'll eat, why not do that as well? So it's definitely an interest. It's not in the works yet, but it's definitely an interest.
Yeah, I've been wanting because I have chickens as well, so they like the mealworms. So at the time I was looking that up, wanted to do both. They're what one's a different style, but yeah, and then I was like, man, where am I gonna put this thing? Like that's another part of my whole thing is I work under usually because I do the indoor thing, it's pretty extreme restrictions. For the winter, I'm down to a 3x3, and that's just the way it is. I have one of those situations where I either have to pay a pretty hefty chunk of money to get everything going. Uh, because I grow at a separate location for my big grow, which is my personal, my personal use stuff, and it needs to be rewired and that kind of deal. It's got a new roof and everything, but needs a lot of work to get everything perpetual for year round type of stuff. Um, because that's kind of where I got my eyes on now is yeah, being a tester, going back to that. I'm sure too, because you said you remember testing, but you end up requiring so much genetics that are either just forgotten about, they were never released, or you get sent a ton of stuff and you just can't grow it out, and it releases anyway, so you have it. um and what I'm getting at is you have when you're a tester, you have a really, really unique opportunity to make some really unique things if you're in the the bean making business. um, Even if it's just crazy ideas for you and your friends or whatever, maybe not necessarily for mass consumption, but like I said, me personally, I have some pretty cool testers I work for, where I test for Aloha Island Genetics, and he's really fun to test for, because everything I get sent is always just completely opposite spectrums. There will be land race and other things, and so in my big grow this year, which I'm mainly choosing everything rather than having tests being done. um, it's kind of a unique thing for me because it's not very common for me to choose my entire lineup and pretty much everything be different. And I'm doing that because I'm investigating strains that I think will be highly have medicinal pain relieving purposes, specifically because of my back issues. And it seems to be one of the most common ailments, right, within the community is some sort of neck pain or back pain or whatever it may be. So I see a lot of value in the really, really powerful stuff, especially when we're talking about, like I make lotions and stuff. So I'm not necessarily always after um the best of the best flour. Um, smoke wise. Sometimes I want stuff that's way, way too wicked, that puts you to sleep, but I'm using it for the lotions. But there's other stuff for the um, daily smoking, whatever, because I pretty much like everything. I don't, I say it to some people. I don't think I've ever had any bad flour. I've just had poorly grown or poorly cured, or I've had, that's the only bad flour I've had. Weed is typically never bad. It's got user error written on it. The genetics are usually always good. Um, so we'll see. I'm gonna start investigating a lot of stuff this year. I just put up one of my goofy trailers for for my big grow. I got my last strain in last night and germed it, and so now we're off to the races. Gonna be bigger year for me personally. I usually don't do as much, but since I'm doing the mini hunts this year, that's the difference. So I think it'll make for fun for macro pictures like I do. I have new equipment for that. Um, a new camera for this year. I was finally able to score one of my dream cameras, so I'm still trying to learn, all the buttons on the thing and get time to practice, as well as, full-time job and being a dad. And uh but I'm really excited. I'm really excited to share everything with everybody this year. And wherever it goes, I'm gonna let the plants tell me what to do.
So, where did the name Dabs for Dads come from? I mean, obviously, was it just geared towards you? I mean, because it's plural. That's why I asked.
Yeah, it's funny because it started as a joke at my job, because one of the guys I work with, because it's not really it's somewhat frowned upon to partake in Mary Jane. And so, and my one friend, he he thought it was really funny because through the whole process of becoming a dad and stuff, he we would always make this joke that I'm a dad who dabs. And so it started kind of the name, but it morphed into something more for me, as well as just it's supposed to be a representative thing, that and I think that's why it's plural. It's not just me. um it was just kind of a commentary about dads, or parents, really, I could say, getting a bad rap for smoking. I think it's way, way, way beyond that. It should be widely accepted, just like booze is. um so, and with the Dabs for Dad thing, it's more of an idea to like glorify the home grower. I want you to see, I have some really expensive lights and I have some good equipment, but a lot of the time, all you need is all the facets, in order for you to get going and get off, get growing good plants. And that's why I like to share what I do. um I want people growing good plants. uh I think when everyone's growing good flower, everybody wins. The genetics get better, they get stronger as you breed with them, and it's just at the top of its game all the time. It's just all around a win-win-win. um so yeah, so I mean, obviously it's a personal thing to me because that's what this account is. But um at the end of the day, it's funny. It did just kind of start as a joke, but it's literal. And I'm a dad who dabs. And but in everything I just said is what my intention for it. I want everyone to be confident. and then doing it. You can do it. It's just gotta try a little bit and fail some too, and not be scared to, because you're going to. Plants they're unpredictable. So
There's good experience in failing. That's for sure. You said that earlier, and it's
yeah,
very true. Sometimes the most memorable lessons are from failure. The
yeah,
successes are easy to, forget some of the things that got you there, but the failures, you remember the
oh
failures.
yeah, yeah. We have the big ones, where you've had to cut everything down or throw everything out, or you know I remember years ago, I was still having issues with the curing, glass. That's why I use glass cure and mason jars. And something went in too wet and didn't get burped, and it grew mold on it. And I don't know, my opinion on it is, as soon as if it grows mold on it, you better toss all that. There's spores in there, So was the saddest thing I ever did, was have to toss a whole plant because it started going because I messed it up. But like you said, dude, it's part of it. If it, I almost think if you're not failing, you're not trying real hard. I mean, I've seen people get super lucky on their first handful of grows, or maybe they're just always lucky, but you know, yeah, I think everybody at least does the overwatering. You feel like the more water you put on that thing, it's just going to soak everything you put on it up, and it's going to grow huge, and then it claws wickedly the next day and just barely recovers. You start getting root rot and all kinds of issues, and um, you know, then you're just trying to recover. But yeah, you have to fail. I think, I always feel pretty strongly about that, because I see a lot of being on Instagram. You people are faceless a lot of the times, and have second accounts, third accounts, and they have no problem going on your account and just ripping everything up and this and that. And I won't have it. Just ignore it, block it, move on. uh you know there's this idea that people just can be kind of malicious anymore because there is no repercussions. But karma, I believe in karma. Karma is very real. I think you get even. You don't get what you deserve, you get even. uh or that's what it gives you. So I choose to be positive and tell everyone, I like their grows. Or if I do the old school method, if I don't enjoy it, I just continue. I just don't share my opinion. I just I just move on, which that's kind of gone anymore.
Fortunately, I don't. There is some negativity out there, but it seems to be getting better and better. It seems to be more encouragement, at least around what I see, and
Yeah,
hopefully that is the going trend right there. Is more like you're doing yourself, wanting to see others succeed. I mean, there's no sense. I mean, there's no competition in this. You know what I mean? Why
yeah,
not help a friend? You know
yeah,
what I mean? Why not?
yeah.
It's just silly.
Yeah, and like I said, I think I already touched on it earlier, but I think there's also a really fine balance, because I've definitely had the polar opposite, where it's not necessarily that someone is being negative. It's that they needing so much coaching that it gets to a point where it's like, do you want to grow, or do you want me to grow for you? Because, you know, um, that's why I always kind of touch back on the experience thing. Like, you shouldn't be so afraid to grow that you have to know all the answers before. Like, I fully support just going for it. There's a lot of guys like me, like you, I'm sure, that have, usually we have, huge stashes of bag seed or throwaways or whatever. And I said this on another thing, but if you're new and you need to practice, get a hold of somebody that could help you out. There might be somebody that has some bag seeds or something like that that you could practice germing on or practice growing in general, and not buy some of these exorbitant packs that we have nowadays that are very expensive, and not practice on those. you know um practice on some bag seed, get it figured out, and go. And I know I keep saying it, but just don't be afraid to fail. I get so many people that won't say anything to anybody because they're so terrified about being, pretty much crucified as soon as they show a picture. And I'm trying to build everybody up and encourage the community to not do that. Let's build everybody up. Even when someone's plant looks like it might be a little sick or whatever, like they probably know too. You know what I mean? So maybe just go help them out. Like, hey, it looks like you might be overwatering. Like, let her dry out. Don't water anymore. um, that kind of thing, rather than just ridicule. But like you said a second ago, I think it is getting better. I've met some really, really awesome people. That's why I've never left the platform. I've connected to some really awesome creative people that just do some of the coolest things. I used to get sent a lot of pictures all the time, and somebody sent me a picture once where they were doing like their own bonsai tree with cannabis, and they had been vegging it for somewhere like 8 months. So this thing was just really, really interesting and cool. And it's just that's what I love about the community. Everyone's kind of doing something different, and they're doing it all over, everywhere. And that's probably my favorite thing about the Instagram thing. It leads me to people like you know and I think that's really cool, man. It's with everything there is in the world, being thankful for stuff like this is, I think, everything. There's a lot of people out there, and they want you to do good. So you know
Sorry about that. A little slow on the mute button there. And
oh, you're
yes,
all right.
there is, especially around here. The man, I don't know if you've been able to watch or keep up with chat tonight, but the mods have actually throwing down your links all night long for your merch and your Instagram and all that good stuff. So
Oh, I
people that will not only watch tonight, but who will watch us in the future will be able to follow some links and check out your merch and stuff as well. I can't help but wonder. You mentioned the band as well. I asked this very same question of my guest last night. How would you say cannabis has impacted your musical career?
Oh
We
man.
as you've grown, we've all grown up. Oh yeah, you can because of weed, you'll never amount to nothing. But there's just instances, and music's one of them. I believe that it would greatly enhance. Is that something you found with your musical experience in cannabis?
Oh, absolutely, dude. Some of my favorite memories are making, songs with my buddies while we were able to smoke, some really, really good homegrown Michigan stuff. And yeah, I mean, our it enhanced everything. Our minds were more open to, make creative choices when we were writing music. I wish I could tell you the the names of the bands. Some of them were semi-prominent Michigan bands. Some are still going to this day. If anyone, I don't know if anyone's interested, DM me and I will send you to an iTunes thing. uh but yeah, it cannabis had a very positive impact on my music career, um and just the artistic process of it. I think that was part of the whole weed thing, in and jam festivals, Woodstock, obviously, right? It was always, people love to vibe with music, um and cannabis. I think it's cannabis, I'll say, I think it's as universal as music. um Anyone can find what they like in music and dislike other things, and I think cannabis is really no different. It's a full-fledged body and soul experience, and music and cannabis, I think, are that hand in hand. Even their very definition, I think, can be swapped. um I don't think I've ever met a musician that didn't smoke, you know, or something. If you can't smoke, they do microdose or edible or whatever. But yeah, I couldn't see music without it.
How many fun parodies have been, you know, cannabis and, the being phase, and we all do it when a song comes on and we're smoking. We mix around them words for that fun parody. But being a musician and access to, some music, some instruments, and some fun guys, how many times does that come up when you guys are trying to write a song, like some fun parodies or just some fun lyrics?
Yeah, I know. I was in like a metal band, like a hardcore metal kind of thing. It's borderline on punk, and uh I remember we used to love doing parody rap songs, and it was our favorite thing to do. And I couldn't see us having a more fun time without having cannabis in it. It Anytime we did like parties or whatever, and that would come out, the whole mood would really shift, and it was really cool. And I don't yeah, I like the way that you put it, because it's like, without cannabis, things like that really wouldn't have been possible. um you know which I think that's kind of what we're alluding to. Yeah, it's that special.
It's a very good thing in my life. It has definitely changed me in a lot of ways, and it enriched my life in a lot of ways. But when did it actually go from like a recreational? When did you know this? It slide from recreational use to like a medical thing for you? Was there that aha moment? I mean, I've heard you mention a few injuries,
yeah.
but was that the actual aha moment? When things turned a bit for you?
I think I was a part of a generation, and where pills was the answer, right? They were throwing Prozac or like Ritalin at everyone. Um, Everyone had ADHD, and I remember I being one of those kids growing up that had to take a lot of this stuff. And when I found cannabis, it was recreational. I always just felt I definitely felt like I was doing something I wasn't supposed to, because I was, according to my parents. But um I think when I started noticing that when I would partake and I didn't need anything else, I would forget to take my stuff because I felt okay. And in a weird way, I actually think I used it to wean myself off of everything I was taking, to the point where I just stopped taking what I was being told to take, and I kind of felt better on on just cannabis alone. And I think that's when, it kind of, the idea married itself, that this was more than just getting high with my, because at that point I was using on my own. I wasn't finding anything and then calling all my buddies. A lot of my friends growing up didn't smoke, so I was actually kind of like a lone wolf smoker, I guess. I didn't really have a pack. um all the people around me and the circles I was in always thought I was doing much different stuff. I almost felt like I had to hide that I was a stoner, but really no one suspected me of it, not until later on, where, if we met today, oh yeah, that guy smokes, you know. Uh but yeah, I think that's an interesting thing to reflect on. um I think later on with injuries and stuff like that, yeah, it's always been. But I haven't used my flowers in the ways that I use them until about the last 5 years. I'm much more interested in a lot more processes now, with cooking edibles, as far as oil extractions, tinctures. Dry sifting is a thing I will be doing a ton of this year. Washing. I press. Obviously, it's dabs for dads, right? So I do dabs. They're not my preference. But when I need to get a lot of THC in my system or in my body, that is definitely my preferred method. I think they're awesome. They taste great, especially if you have a nice setup to do it and a good temperature control of some kind. Because I learned that the hard way by like frying dabs permanently into the bottom of bangers and stuff, and just having to pretty much throw them out because the alcohol wouldn't deteriorate the rosin on it. But yeah, so I was probably like a teenager, I would say, when, maybe like 15, when I noticed that it was more of a medical thing.
Well, kind of coincides with what I'm about ready to ask you now. Is well, from what it sounds like, from what I've gathered from your story, but how did cultivation actually change your view of cannabis?
Hmm. I think it when I swapped the mindset over to cultivation, I think that's when it really, really blew the doors off. Um, I didn't realize the world was so big in cannabis, and that there could be as much as there is. I'm definitely one of my like mottos or quotes is just keep it simple. Um, it's funny because that comes from, my wife said that to me in one of my first grows, because she took care of some of my plants, and she did a better job than me. And she did, and it was way, way better, and that was all she told me. I was like, man, how did you do that? She said, I just kept it simple, and I've kept that ever since then. But yeah, when I started growing my own and seeing the plant, rather than just seeing the baggies that you're getting, when I started watching it, you know grow out of the ground, veg, um grow flower on it, I think there we can all agree that when you watch a plant flower, man, there's just something like magical about it, and just how that plant looks. I always feel like a kid when, you're in like week 2, 3 of flower, and she really starts, doing some bract formations, and they start swelling and throwing the huge, white stigmas. And um, I think it's just really awesome. I'm always amazed by that, and the difference between strains again, with the testing thing. Um, just getting to watch that unfold over and over is, if you're getting bored with it, I guess you're in it for something else, but it is the most amazing thing to me every single time. It's always just such a joy. And I know that anytime I'm doing it for me personally now, like we were talking about it was about taking pictures, and now we're putting up ads. Now I get excited about doing the flowers, because I'm going to take, I know I only got so much time, so I take as much pictures as I can, as much macros as I can, and then it's done. And I never get pictures of that plant again. It's just, I've always enjoyed the impermanence part of it too. It's not around forever. Unfortunately for me, some of the other growers out there, I'm very jealous for the perpetual grows. And that I call any moms I call them short-term moms, because they don't, they're about 9 months is about as long as I can take stuff, and then I have to start making choices about if I'm running heat or not. And it's pretty much like running heat outside. It's very expensive. So um but yeah, I don't know. I think as soon as I started cultivating, it was just like a whole different thing. It was like every new facet of cannabis just would blow my mind again. Even I think within the last handful of years, with the live rosin and dabs and all that kind of thing, I never ever thought that that would be a thing. I think that's amazing. Now we're seeing, like the THCA crystals or diamonds, and THCA powder in more bulk now. Like more people are after that kind of thing. And I thought when I was growing up that the potency couldn't get much higher. But like we were, man, was I wrong? Like look at it now. I've never actually had any of the diamonds. I'd love to, but it's just crazy where we're at with cannabis now.
So many great ways to enjoy it. That's for sure. For sure.
Mhm.
Nothing goes to waste. Nothing is going to waste, which kind of leads me to my next question is have you ever tried or thought about boiling those roots down for the anti-inflammatory properties for your lotions?
Yes. One of my buddies, Timmy's Garden is his handle. I've done testers for him, and he suggested that very thing. Um, which I'm glad he did, because I didn't think about it, and luckily I didn't empty any of my pots, because some of my pots I do a kind of no-till style where just the same soil lives in there. And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
We're talking about anti-inflammatory properties of the
Oh,
fruit.
yeah, I'm sorry. So yeah, so I took, like, even I grew a huge Acapulco Gold last year, and I ripped the root ball out today. And yeah, I have a huge pile of roots that I've saved from my last year's harvest. So I will have that kind of in a perpetual cycle of, I will save my roots now. And yes, I am going to be implementing them into future lotions. I think I've got it down now where people are really, really enjoying the consistency and how it's working and whatnot. And I think if I can make it even better and better medicinal properties, I think it's a phenomenal suggestion, and I'm definitely going to do it. Um, it's I do them in drops because it takes such a long time. A lot of the time I extract all my own oils from things that I grow on my property, like lavender and peppermint and lemongrass and pine. I thought that that was a lotion I did, a pure Michigan pine, where I actually took a ton of pine needles, which I would say that we're known for the most, and I extracted a ton of oil and put it in all that batch, and everyone seemed to love that. And so everything's handmade as much as I possibly can. I do order my shea butter and coconut oil, and that's about it. And then everything else I make, besides the packaging, but I do most of my own design. Um, Now, my wife helps me do my new logos because I'm always coming up with new ones. But and I have a new artist now, but yeah, the roots is gonna happen.
Salves are amazing for pain. Been talking about that a lot lately with other patients and caregivers about the effectiveness of salves, and it's something that I think doesn't get pushed enough. I
Yeah,
think the flowers and everything else is, well, it's the answer. It's not the end all. It's not. They do help it all a lot, but it's not the end all. And a lot of them salves are amazing for pain and arthritis. You know, I wish
oh
they were
yeah,
pushed to the forefront a little bit more. People would give them a try before some flowers some days, or dabs even. Nothing
yeah,
against the dabs or flower.
yeah, yeah. No, it's funny, dude, because my own parents always kind of weren't into it much, the cannabis thing. They've accepted that it wasn't a fad for me, that it was a lifetime deal. But now I've been able to, provide them with some of my lotion, and they've got to find out for themselves. And it's funny because now my parents call me all the time and beg for more, which is just so ironic to me. Growing up with people that didn't were pissed every time they caught me smoking or whatever, and then now they're begging for for the medicine from it because they finally tried it. And that's been really, really, really an amazing thing, man. I let a first batch go of them where I had like 9, and they sold immediately. And then I've been making bigger and bigger batches, and they just go faster and faster. And so it's been pretty cool. I'm glad that people are enjoying it so much. But it's so funny. It's more popular than the amount of flower than I can grow, if that makes sense. Uh, People are getting so much that I don't have, because I just won't release it if I don't have enough flour, that I'm comfortable with putting in it, because I believe that it needs a pretty immense amount in order to numb the pain receptors in the skin, um, to give you that relief. So if you had, for me, with my vertebrae, with my ruptured disc, I was having trouble sleeping because of it. So I was constantly having to take like ibuprofen or something like that. Well, once I started rubbing the lotion on my back about an hour before I'd go to bed, I found that I could actually sleep, without anything, which was major plus for me. If I can do it without anything. So I think that was a testament. And then I remember I sent some out to my friends because I wanted to make sure I wasn't having a placebo effect on myself. Like you said, I'm surprised they're not pushed more. I think they're getting more popular now. I see some people that are doing some, and what I'm noticing from my view is that it looks like everyone has really interesting and different recipes. Every single one I see is a different consistency, a different they claiming it's doing different things. So I think that's really a testament to the salve, you know. I think there is a lot there, man. I'm trying to find as much in it as I can because I found such relief. Um, you know, when I make some in the future, you definitely contact me and I'll shoot one up to you so you can try it out for yourself. Because I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do for the people because you know, I have to keep my operation at a specific yield and whatnot. So I found the best way is to give back to everyone in the lotion form, you know. And with that, with everyone's support, it's allowing me to get it bigger and bigger and bigger and do more with it. You know, I'm super big on freebies, and the you know it, like I said a hundred times, I'm an artist, so like I'm trying to starting to create my own things to give out as freebies. I've always been one of those people that I like all the trinkets. I like all the gimmicks and stuff when people give you, you know, like when you get some seeds and you it comes in a cool little box, or it comes with some crystals or whatever, like, or some really cool slaps. I've always been into that. I think that's cool. um you know, like I said earlier, I think that's it's almost becoming a norm. So I think I'm going to have to start pushing it more and see more creative ways to give people stuff that's useful also. Because I, you know, I think we all most owners want stash boxes of some kind. You know, if they can get custom ones, that's the ones they want. But uh so I'm working on a lot of things. I'm hoping that I can give back a lot by Christmas is the goal for this year. But we'll see. You know how it goes. Don't always get the phenos you want, and um, I'm just trying to be as positive as possible because I have some projects I really want to release. Because I was able to get some really nice genetics, some nice stuff from Baba Co. and the Afghan selections. So he was able to share some of his black selection hash plants, and so I'm really excited to start diving into those. My buddy Irzig has also hooked me up with some stuff, so which is also black selection. So I'm really curious. That's what it's about for me this year. I was very intrigued by black selection. Land races, especially like the Balak from Babaco, just because it's one of those ones where it's like a 1 out of 100 phenos are going to be that way. So most likely I won't get it, but I sure am hoping. So we'll see how the day or how the grow goes, you know.
Yeah, you know, I heard you mention there being limited on stuff for like good medicine. Boy, being a caregiver here in Michigan, it kind of really bumps me that it's a shame. It's a
Yeah.
shame that we are limited in the numbers that we are limited. But then again, you know, on the rec side, it's more we can have what we want, but when we're trying to help people with and do the right thing, we're incredibly limited here in Michigan, and I just think that's kind of a messed up system we have right now. It should be just the opposite, to be honest with you. The medical should have the heavy numbers, and the recreational side should have the limit, in my opinion. It's a bummer, man. It really limits the people you can help, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see some change. Yeah, it's I think we're all tired of it, right? You know, it's like, man, this should have been done, you know, 15, 20 years ago, 70 years ago. I should have never ever been like this. And yeah, it does. You know, with the platform I got and the way I have to do things, I definitely feel it a lot. You know, it stinks being limited. Um, one of the things I probably get a lot of the flack from is I try to do a lot of giveaways, especially because like the things I mentioned earlier, being a tester, you get all these seeds. So sometimes I like to give them out, like spread them out, let some other people grow some of these awesome things. And um yeah, it really stinks when you run a giveaway and you can't just like, a lot of the times I don't do them worldwide. And some of the, especially with the what's at the borders and stuff now, like the shipping is insane. And I've had packages go to Canada where it's legal here and it's legal there, but they seize it at the border. I'll never understand it. The person sending and the person receiving are totally legal, and they seize them anyway. I see a lot of other people have fantastic luck, but I've seen a lot of packages get taken, and it's just, yeah, man, it feels like enough is enough, and it's late enough too. Like I think I hear it all the time. They're saying like 68% agree now that we should be just legal, but I hope we see it, I hope we see it in our time, and I think we will.
I hope we get some like laws like Canada, man. Because I
Yeah.
I've moved up north recently. Well, recently, 5 years now. If that's recent.
Hmm.
Uh, moved up north, and then a lot of my patients are still down in downstate there, Jensen County area to be exact. And it would sure be easier for me at some points when it is time to take care of the patients. That once a month deal there, if I could actually just drop their stuff in the mail like Canadians can do, man, it would
Yeah.
save me so much time. Oh man, it's smart because when I'm down there, it's like to take care of the patients, and I'm usually limited on what I can do when I head down there. It's like there's never enough time. It'd be nice if I could handle a lot of that stuff, like I said there, and then when I do go down, I just had time for whatever I wanted to do when I was down there.
Yeah.
Hopefully someday soon. Hopefully someday soon.
Yeah, I hope so too, man.
You talked about there, getting into a plateau where you get bored with cannabis and you should get out. Sounds like you've bit off quite a bit, brother. You sounds like you're not going to be tired of cannabis anytime soon. Between the lotions, uh, the bubble, the pressing, the growing, the slaps, you got quite a bit going on there, Chief. You should have enough fire in you or in front of you to keep you pulled along for quite some time.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's it's in me, man. It's if I'm not doing it, I feel off. I feel like I'm not doing what I'm here for. I'm not really sure, but I'm just doing exactly what I want to do. Um Yeah, I know I got a lot of hats for sure. I think I'm so passionate about, cannabis and this whole world about it, that I have to know all of it, or I have to have experience in all of it, even if I'm not good at something. Something I'll admit to everyone is that I am no good at hydro stuff. That was really why I never did it. Every time I did it, I failed miserably. I don't know, it's just not my thing. I know other people that they are fantastic at it. Your stuff looks killer. I applaud you. It was way too much pH in, and just too much stuff for me. But I say that, and then I'll spend half hour getting one macro picture, because I have to take 300 shots. And I'm still at a level where I have money into some equipment, but not all equipment. So there's some guys out there that have really nice macro rails, like auto ones, and they can just run through everything and wait. And I'm super jealous of that. I still have to do manual everything. I have to adjust my rail with my hand every single time and hope that I don't move it a lot to compromise the whole image. And there's a there's a lot behind the whole skull logo going on to create all the content that I'm trying to. And at the end of the day, to me, I'm very, very humbled that people are interested and actually want to see my grows and stuff. I think it still blows me away to this day that I even have anyone following me. I figure most people get annoyed with how much I do post, because it was kind of just a blog for me. It was a way to store all this information and all these pictures and what these plants did. And that was part of the idea before it was even a Dabs for Dads thing. Before that, I had the name, but I was just kind of doing the grows, doing whatever. There wasn't a whole lot more to it. I was just doing what I wanted to do, and people are so interested. I've created this brand, and and some of the merch, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, and that's key. It doesn't feel like a job. There's times when it does, I'll be honest, when I have to ship a lot of packages or something like that, and I have to spend like 10 hours packing things and all that stuff. It can get a little tedious and monotonous. But as soon as I get back to the plants and I'm doing that, it's definitely worth it. The week after I ship stuff is one of my favorite weeks, because I don't tend to have a lot of issues. Even with the mail the way it is, I do get a lot of people that are tell me these really happy stories, and that's what it makes my day. I know you can relate when you have a patient that says, yeah, that's the one. There's no better feeling, like you accomplished it. You found their strain.
Definitely agree with that. I definitely agree. Definitely agree. And I agree with the shipping. Oh, shipping can be fun.
Yeah, dude.
The only positive side of anything shipping is the it landed. Ah, the post when they post it up.
Yeah.
Ah, that's the best part.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I've had the horror stories. Luckily, everyone that I've had two packages out of I don't even know, maybe 600 that have gone out. I've had two of them that one didn't make it, and the other one got shipped to an entirely different country than it was just supposed to go from Michigan to Illinois, and it ended up going to Cuba and then to the British Islands, and then it came back. Um, I don't know. They didn't know either. But anyway, any of those
Well worth
times,
the postage.
yeah, yeah, it went on a vacation by itself. You know, so but yeah, everyone got their stuff. That's usually I replaced everything in it, and then they got their second package anyway. And I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Just hang on to it. I think it was lotion orders, so I was like, you know what? If it's too much, just give it out to your friends or whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it. But um, you win some, you lose some. But I've been pretty lucky with that. And at the end of the day, when someone gets some extra stuff, and it's a win. You chalk up to um that'll come back in something else. I don't know and more so any of the merch and the stickers, because I'm talking about it a lot as that was an idea to fuel all the passion I have for this to start putting that passion into getting things for everyone else. I want to do my own breeding, and I like having a brand and having stuff. Like I said, I like the package deal things. Some people don't care for that. I'm super big on it. If you can't tell, like I'm huge on you get the seed pack and you get a cool T-shirt that comes with it. I don't know what that is. Like I said, it's like the Band-Aid thing.
I dig this skull. Honestly, it was a deal sealer when I sent the invitation.
Thank you. Yeah, and
I
they no.
definitely have a thing for skulls, and it did. I was like, man, this guy can't be all bad. I dig the skull.
Yeah, well, thank you. I
Very
appreciate it.
cool.
Yeah, I
Drew
appreciate it.
me right in.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's really done wonders for me. It's I see it in a lot of gardens, and it makes me really happy to see it. I always say, that my stickers gives you 10% extra terps having it up in your tent. So I'm trying to get it in
ah,
everyone's garden.
nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice. So is a lot of your other art skull based? I can't help but wonder.
A lot of it is, I have a lot of variations of I don't know if you can see like my logo on the screen too. I don't know how it's organized, but yeah, most of them are like a variation of the skull. I have a pineapple one now. I don't know if I update it in my profile picture if it'll change it. But yeah, I have some of that, and then I started getting a lot of people that were kind of requesting, can I get a more of a discreet thing? I don't want to explain what Dabs for Dads is to my grandma. So uh so I did some like other styles where it doesn't say Dabs for Dads. It's I'm trying to get one up for you. Can you see those images of the profile picture? Like if I change this
They should be able to see.
like that, that's one of my discrete logos that I have. I call it the zombie lotus. I have other ones. I have an artist now. He does really, really cool like retro style artwork. His name is Steven Yoda, and his artwork is really cool. You should check him out. He does stuff that looks like old like Black Sabbath shirts, or like, Led Zeppelin. Um Real rock and roll type vibe to him. So I'm starting to get a lot more than just the skull. I think the skull will always be, with me. It'll always be my thing, but I'm gonna keep pushing with some of the other things, and I'm trying to keep it fresh as much as I possibly can. So there's constantly something new, and it's just something I'm driven to do. It's something that makes me happy. So that's what I keep doing, and it allows me to kind of have like special edition um logos. So if you got a sticker, maybe no one else has it, uh that kind of thing. So like I said, a lot of people don't really care about that, but it's always a thing for me.
I definitely I dig it. So have you ever thought about maybe, and this is just my opinion, I'm a big person kind of about branding, but one thing I've learned about in business myself is keeping some things the same helps keep you identified. It's easy for people to identify anyway. So I have never actually changed my icon ever. forever almost. It's been a
Yeah.
long time. I take that one right there. So what I decided to do with the show, I don't sell shirts for on the show or for the show or anything related to the show. I give that shit away in contests and stuff. I heard you mention giving away beans. I bet I gave close to 300 personally, probably about 300 packs of seeds away this last year on the show.
Oh, that's
But I give away a
awesome.
lot of shirts too. But I like the collectability of shit. So, even though I plan to keep a lot of the show stuff or at least my personal stuff the same, uh, I decided with the shirts what I was gonna do is like just only make so many colors. Each time have a shirt brand, I'm gonna have like so many colors. That design, so many colors, limited each time. So there's like a collectability with the shirts. So yeah, none of them actually ever being the same. I thought it
Yeah.
was a cool aspect of that kind of thing. And you've got a lot of cool things. You know what I mean? So that could equal a lot of cool shirts as well.
Yeah,
I
thank
like the Buddha there.
yeah,
And
the Buddha is my newest artist, the Stephen Yoda. I actually we did hoodies that I designed. This was on the back and it had one of the skull logos on the front. And man, they're bitching. They're really cool. The printer did an awesome job. Um, I'm using him for more projects for the future. Um, people may see them, like I said, in Christmas. That's part of the idea of making kind of like a box set, sorts of speak, of multiple things that you'll get. So I'm working on it. There's a lot of things behind the scenes for me, and I can't wait to show everybody. That's one of the things I really like. My grow, when you watch it, if you follow me, is you're watching it as it happens. It's when I post that day, it's of that day. If you follow along, you'll literally watch the whole grow. That's what I did last year. Everyone was able to follow my grow from seed, to harvest, and then what I did with it after that. Um I plan to do a lot more of that this year. So I'm gonna show some more of the things that I do, the dry sifting and pressing. I hope some more. um yeah, just sharing a little bit more about the process.
so is there a YouTube that they can look you up on? I know they've been posting it, but I want to make sure it gets thrown out there just in case they haven't threw out that link. They've been really good tonight about throwing out your link. I love this shit.
Oh, YouTube.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a channel or anything. It's all just the Instagram for now. It seems to be the only thing I can keep up with. Maybe in the future I might do some more. Uh, but for now, because I only say it because I'm starting to kind of shift my focus from purely testing to starting like getting serious with my own stuff. So I don't really see it, in the next couple of years. But maybe in 5 years down the road, I might start really switching it up once I have some of the medicine that I want everyone to have, or that I want to contribute, my mark. Once I'm done, like fulfilling that goal for myself, then I might start wanting to teach or share my versions of how I do some things. So I could see it down the road, but I don't see it anytime soon.
That's that's cool. You should definitely think about it though as you progress in the cannabis community, and especially with testing and whatnot. When it's the light company's approach, and believe me, brother, they will approach.
Yeah.
That's one of the first things they're gonna ask you. Do you have a YouTube where you can post up a quick video in the links? And
Oh,
anymore
yeah.
these days, uh, as you post things, you can usually the beauty of these new phones, you can almost multitask and post them to both accounts at the press of a button.
Oh,
You
right,
know what
right. Yeah. I probably have a YouTube already set up, and I'll need to do is just just reset a new one up and just start from scratch with a Dabs for Dads, you know.
Not that you don't have a full plate in front of you.
Yeah, I tried, I think it's all good suggestions. I try to do as much as I can. I wish, to be honest with you, I really wish there's some really good photographers out there, like Eric Nugshots is a really good one. And he does some really cool like 3D or 3D flower shots, where the flower spins 360 and it zooms all the way in from out from flower shot into like singular trichomes. Those are personal goals I have where I'd like to accomplish some shots like that. I'm trying to find the roof, of quality and quality shots of cannabis. I don't know what my I just I'm thoroughly fascinated with that. It's something that's why I like doing the pictures, right? I just love it. It's one of my favorite things. Like I'm most at home, I think, when I'm getting to traverse the landscape that is on my cannabis plants with my macro stuff and getting to see the plant at a level like that. It was kind of like, what we talked about earlier with just the going from being a smoker every day to someone that is now, cultivating. That blew my mind. So just every facet is just a whole nother world. It's hard to find the bottom in cannabis, and I'm trying to find it because I'm just so interested in everything. It's really cool. Like I think you said it earlier really well. Every part gets used. Your People are getting more and more efficient with it. I use every part and all my sticks and stems and leaf and trim and that that's not washed. My stems more or less all get mulched. They go into the compost, so they get used. Everything gets used. That's another important thing to do.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a miracle plant all the way around it, and I can't believe it's been suppressed as long as it has. I mean, it's taken this long to come back to the forefront. So, are you looking to get out at some of these events?
Oh, to some of the events.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know there's the Bigfoot Lounge Lodge is having an event. I believe it's July 24th, 25th. There's a few,
Oh.
decent events coming up here soon.
I think I will here and there, like I'm still in. I think I could, well, I it's always an idea for me that I like to be a phantom. Um I do want to go. I'm getting to the point where I want to meet more people and to hit more of these spots. I know one of my goals for this year is to go to the Gage Green Group's Organic Cup, which I think is September 4th and 5th. I think we're having a Gene Traders here pretty soon, or we already had it. I think we're having
Yeah, I
another
think
one.
we are we having another one
I
that well
can't.
we might as well. Hell, it's so early in
Yeah,
the year.
yeah. I know we had one a couple weeks ago, and I feel like someone else said there was going to be one in a week or two. I don't know, but sometimes my issue is my day job. Because I work kind of bizarre hours, and so usually when all these things are happening, I have to work, which is kind of a bummer. But that's also part of the reason that I can post like I can or get the work done that I can, being a dad, is because the timing of how it works. Everyone's asleep, and in my rooms sometimes during the summer are all backwards. They turn on at night and are dark all day. um so I can work on things when I need to. Otherwise, I would be missing my tents all the time. But yeah, it's in the plans to hit some stuff. I'm not sure how much yet. We will see, but I definitely want to.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of us work at nighttime or garden at nighttime because of the same reasons that you spoke of right there.
Yeah.
A lot of the reasons I do it is because it's just so much cooler to run at night. It's cheaper to run at night. There's so many tons of benefits of running at night, to be honest with
Yeah. Yeah, and I like it. I like to do it a lot. Um I don't know why. I've always had a thing with it. There's something about, you know, uh, being out, where we're at. I'm out in the sticks, so I go outside and it's just stars from end to end, and I carry all my water out to my building, and I'm still kind of have that like guerrilla grower thing. That was your thing. You went out in the cover of darkness, so no one knew what you were up to or what you were doing or where it was very important. Um, because we all know, like, a cannabis plant outside usually sticks out like a sore thumb. It's a very, very vibrant greens, or it's purple, in some cases. So
you. It's funny that I I do still occasionally swing a hammer just to kind of keep even though I do this, I like show my face basically every night and
yeah.
have been forever now. There's good years where I was just definitely afraid of ever thinking about showing my face. It
Sure.
just came out of the steamroll. But even though I do this, and there's very few people, there was probably more than I ever realized. I show the show at my local garden show or my garden store, and they play it during the day. So there's a good chance more people have seen me than I'm giving myself credit for. But I actually still take jobs, swing hammers for my neighbors and whatnot, just to kind of hopefully keep my cover. I'm still not forthright with all my neighbors in my town and everything. You know what I mean? I'm not
Hmm.
running around telling everybody I'm a caregiver. And first response and gut reaction is still tell them that, I'm a carpenter.
Uh-huh.
I'm doing my own company thing. But but yeah, I still, take jobs just to kind of make it so as obvious to the neighbors that I'm a caregiver for sure.
Yeah.
I'm always leery. Even last year, I talked about putting one outside, and it's one of them things. If you're a full time caregiver, then I think even though I want to do it just so terribly bad, I'm afraid it's just a red flag. To put
Yeah.
out in the yard. Too big of a security risk for the full time.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like they grow legs as soon as they start flowering.
Yeah, it's occasionally I can still pick up down the road when the filters are given away. Uh,
uh,
I actually in the house here. I usually I've got at least I utilize the 4K and a lot of what's going on here. I actually heat my house with a lot of the grow room heat. To be
oh, I
honest with
bet.
you,
Yeah.
um, it pumps. I pump it right before the cold air return runs into the heater, and then I just run the motor of the heater to throw it up the heat throughout the house. So it actually keeps the house rather warm.
Oh, I
And
bet.
during this during the summer months, it goes out the roof, and it's funny because I chose to do that on purpose because it makes it like at least 30 feet up in the air, and then the wind catches it. So if anybody's smelling it, it's probably the neighbor down the road getting the eyeballs on him
Yeah.
because it's being carried for a minute.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had the same thing. My all my filters went, and I decided I was just gonna go for it and let them be out. And then about a week later, I was ordering more filters because I was like, oh, okay, it was, everywhere you went. I was like, okay, it's a lot more prominent than I believed it to be. So,
He's probably started panicking at
oh
that
yeah,
moment.
like whoo, they only want out right in this area. So, like you, I got to get it going, 30, 50 feet up to get it up high enough to disperse.
Oh man, it's still worth it all. It's still worth it all. Yeah, that's worth it.
Oh, for
I love it.
sure. It's my favorite thing I do. You know, I'm driven to do it every day, as you can see. Always trying to dream up stuff. What can I do next? And obviously, I've talked about a lot of other things, but number one is definitely the plants. It's that's what it is for me. All the other things is just what I want to do, show you what the plant looks like. I hope it builds confidence for some people. I shared a tragic grow a couple posts ago, and it was about an overwatering thing at my location. And I like to do that because it's easy, and I'll say that it's easy to always show perfect, good plants and this and that once you've been growing for a while. So I wanted to show, that yeah, I came from a spot where the plants weren't good all the time. I was constantly learning. I'm still always learning. I try to learn every day, but I like to share that. And this last one was really nice because I got a pretty big personal response. My mailbox was kind of on fire the day after, and I had a lot of people that related to having water issues, or I had a lot of people that were like, oh my gosh, that's what that is. And, when I get those kind of reactions where the people are having aha moments all over the spectrum because of something I shared, I think it's really cool to be a part of that. And it's especially important because I remember, way back in my past, I didn't have a whole lot of people telling me what to do, or there wasn't a whole ton of information unless you knew the names of people, what books to get, or your friends were really good at it. Like I told you, I was being really secretive, so it was kind of a security risk, like letting someone else in and letting them know what you're doing, because as soon as you start asking questions, they know what you're up to. And so I always played it really smooth, where I didn't let a lot of people know. So by in doing that, I gave up some of those avenues and decided I was just going to have to learn for myself. So, and I would highly suggest that. It made me a confident grower. I've seen it all, and I have done it all. And when I say that, I mean like I have killed my plants every way I possibly could have. So I know what it looks like, and I know how it reacts. And I've tried to bring plants back from the dead, and I have, and saw how long it actually does take to recover from major malfunctions. But um, the message is the same. It's get out there, throw some beans in the soil, get after it, do it. Don't wait. There's never really a perfect opportunity to do it anyway. And worst case scenario, if things are, you get uncomfortable or whatever, you chop it down and it doesn't grow anymore. uh but I would thoroughly encourage just going for it. Even if it looks super sick, try to take it all the way, learn as much as you can on it. Try to, what I tell most new growers is, you almost are learning how to look at things. As soon as I started looking at the plant and looking at it, is when I started becoming a much better grower. The color in the leaves, is it losing color? The tips down, is it curled? Is it clawing? Is it praying? What's it doing? The plant will tell you when it's happy, when it's sad. You want her praying up towards the light, and is she droopy and clawing? You might want to rethink maybe when you're watering, or what you're watering with, or your soil. There's a lot of variables, but try to keep it as simple as possible, is how I tell everyone to do it. If you know like, I mainly use Sohum soil now, and it's one of those just add water uh super soils. And yeah, I haven't looked back. All my plants have been really tasty. They get the job done. Everything tastes different, which that is like my absolute favorite. um yeah, just grow, grow, grow as much as you can.
What have some of your favorites been that you've grown out so far?
Ooh, I've grown a ton of mass medical strains. He was one of the first I started testing for. So a lot of my favorites are currently from a lot of his lines. I like his the Putang. It was a 2019 Cup winner, I think. That stuff's pretty nice. I've had a lot of nice flower from Katsu. Let's see, like, oh, recently he's come out with a grape ape cake again. I really like that. That thing's quite the sledgehammer. With the Aloha Island genetics, I like they have a strain called No, which is Noe. Is really, really unique and tasty. Um, like pineapple terps. I kind of like I like the fruit basket, strains where it's very, very tasty. Um, pineapple or mango or blueberry, all that kind of stuff I love. Some of my go-tos. I also like the really rank, stinky, rotten solvents and gases. Those are some of my favorite skunks. Um, the ones that just smell, it's almost like the more awful they smell, the more potent and nice the bud is. I love that stuff. um I'm huge on variety. I have to have a ton of options. Like, I always have at least at least 10 or more strains to go from. um or anyone, any patient that needs anything. um I like to have a lot. I like, not in yield wise, but just variety. I like having a lot. I think I did one of those grows where I just totally burnt myself out for life. I feel like, I grew two strains. I hunted them for like 4 years and found the best ones. And by the time I got to the best ones, I was almost done smoking it because I had smoked it for so long, which, some would say that means that that wasn't the best strain, but I loved it for about a year. And then I was just kind of like, okay, I definitely need something new. Um, that was right around the time I think I tried dispensary weed again because most of my friends were growing for them anyway, so I already knew what the stuff was all like. But you know, uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't have I really enjoy. He has a strain called Boston Cream Pie, which I thoroughly enjoy. It's one of my favorites. It has incredible vanilla terps and orange creamsicle kind of combo going on, and it's real powerful. It's very happy, uplifting. It's one of my favorites right now. I've grown it for my last 3 runs in a row, which is saying a lot for me because I usually don't rerun anything, and for some reason I've constantly kept that strain in my garden, and I really, really enjoy it. It's some of my favorite flower to give to other people. Um, one of my buddies, I gave him a ton of it, and he was just floored. He loved it. The vanilla and orange creamsicle combo is just really, really delicious. So that's why my breeding stuff I've mentioned is really important to me because I'm unfortunately that strain was very rare and sold out really quickly. So I'm taking it upon myself to hunt some phenos of it to see if I can uh, S1 the line to do fems of that. And yeah, I think that's kind of what I got going on.
It's pretty full. That's a lot there. That's a lot there. And that's a lot of strings to juggle, to be honest with you. I've done that for a long time. Did the
Yeah,
cup mounds. I'm still doing the cup mounds.
yeah,
And I a couple years at best is the longest I've ever held a string. And it's you can't hold them all. You get sick of them. The longer you hold them, as good as they are, it's just you appreciate them. They're great to other people, but it's like, man, I just wish I had room for just a couple of new strings.
yeah,
Can I just find somebody to hold this? I've had horrible experiences with people holding genetics for me. Either they just pass it along and give it to everybody and their brother, or uh, it it's not there when you go back to get it. You're like, oh, I had this problem and this came, I had to kill everything off, or I had this problem in my life. You're like, shit, you could have at least given me a heads up. You know what I mean? I've
yeah,
lost a lot of genetics to holders. So anymore, I pass a few cuts out and say, I love you to the strain and move on. It's
yeah,
just too many of them out there. Too many new ones out there. One thing I found about being a tester too is you get to the point where hype isn't on your radar anymore because you're hoping as you're popping the testers, the next hype or the next great pheno is going to come out of your garden.
oh
So
yeah,
you're not too crazy. You're not to give two shits about what everybody else is doing. You're working on the next thing. Another thing I always loved, and I still love saying, as I'm passing that testing smoke around. And they look at you and what's this? This stuff right here, you probably won't hear of for about another 2 years.
yeah,
you know, and by then I'll be moved on smoking something else.
yeah,
I'll be smoking the future in 2 more years. So that's one of the beauty things I always loved about being a tester is what you had in your bag and in your joint just wasn't what everybody else had when you showed up to an event. And that's a lot of fun.
Oh, I agree. It's probably my favorite. It's my favorite thing. Like it's um I'm just honored to be able to test for the people I am, and um get sometimes I'll get some new offers here and there, but and sometimes they don't always go through, it's not always a and everyone, all breeders test differently anymore. So but for anyone out there thinking about it, a lot of it is just going to the breeder and asking, not and and don't say, hey, give me beans. That you say hi and ask if there is any testing opportunities or something like that. And that is essentially how I've gotten every one of my spots. And yeah, I think it sounds like you thoroughly enjoyed it. I felt like identical, dude. Yeah, it was part of it, the exclusivity of it, of having stuff that people don't, was kind of a thrill. And then yeah, like you said, the hype strain, like always hear the hype strains and stuff, and I was never really drawn to any of it. So the next greatest thing was being way beyond that, before the hype. um and getting to try all that stuff is some of my favorite, and it's not to be, oh, like I have this exclusive thing. It's just I like having all these flavors just before anyone even's talking about it. You're trying stuff out before anyone's had that flavor or whatever, and it's another testament to just how cool the plant is. My big grow right now is just so many different breeders, and I want to say I have over 10, 11 breeders in my tent right now, some of them multiple strains, and that's a dream to me. Just that, just you know my 20-year-old self would be just dying that was what I was doing way later on. um yeah, I love testing. I think if for anyone that's looking to challenge your skill set and be constantly into something else, that there's definitely a market for it if that's what you're into, and variety, which was huge.
It gave me faith in the craft market, that's for sure. Well, as the things come to more recreational, more things being legal, it gave me faith in the craft market is the way I should say, because anytime that I've been to one of these clubs here in Michigan, where thank God there's still a few left out there to where you can still uh, table and do the patient caregiver to patient deal there occasionally. Uh, One thing I have always found is people want something that's good quality and different. And they'll find that there's always will be that market for that one or few hype strains that are good to everybody's mark. But I've watched some people at clubs walk around the room, and a lot of the caregivers growing hype, and they'll go through, look at the jar, sniff it, look at the jar, sniff it, look at the jar, sniff it. Then they come to the test table, they're like, "What the hell is that?" And right there, you've got them because it's something different that they haven't seen yet throughout the whole room, and that's what they want. They don't want what everybody else has got. Once that you get bored with it. There's you
Yeah.
got to have that variety, spice of life, I guess, if you will.
Oh, I agree, dude. It's because I got asked a lot, why are you just growing, because sometimes I'll just grow one or two phenos, and I'm not looking for a 20 pheno hunt per strain. It's still just me. um my wife smokes too, but our latest child still small, and she's choosing not to partake in anything for right now, and so it's just me and me supplying my friends and anybody that needs anything, and the people that are after slaps and all that. I'm just enjoying what's going on, and um yeah, I'm just I'm humbled to be accepted. I seem to be being accepted well with the community so far. It seems like I'm finding a lot of like-minded people. We're all after a similar thing. Um, it's like I said before, it's just a really good time to be in this.
So, first of all, I want to say shout out to Dabs for Dabs, uh, Dabs for Dad's mom, Mrs. There, I should say, for separating the two. You know what I mean? Being able to temporarily separate the two, and step away from the plant to take care of some of life's needs. That's pretty amazing right there. But one
Yeah.
thing I wanted to say that I think's funny about the Dabs for Dads is uh, my time in those clubs, mainly it now. But one thing I found back in the day, as I sat at the table all those many days, is dabs are for moms too. Holy cow, I couldn't
Oh
believe
yeah.
all the moms that dab.
Oh
They
yeah.
didn't just, they would tell me that because a lot of times I would be blown away, you know, uh, by the just sheer volume of mothers that were buying dabs. And I asked, I'm like, how come you guys don't smoke flower? Because I don't, especially at that time, I wasn't having anything that I was putting forth that was extracts other than bubble hash, and still it's still mainly, and they know mom's buying bubble hash, but they were buying dabs, and I'm like, they're like, man, we ain't got time for that shit. Basically, that was it. I'm a mom. There's kids running around. I got shit to do. I got time for a quick
Yeah.
dab, and then I got to run around and get my shit done.
Oh yeah, for sure. I remember in the beginning I had I had a couple ladies come in. They're like, "Hey, how come, this better be for moms too?" And I said, "Yeah, it's for everyone, man." I was like, "I'm sorry, it didn't rhyme as good like dabs for moms. It didn't, it so but it's like I said earlier when we were going through my name, it was just a parental thing, moms and dads, parents, single parents, everybody, grown-ups, you know, it's a, people is is the key.
In fact, I want to put this publicly forth. I want to see a dab's moms, like you see them dab competitions or for the COVID nights, and they'd have the dab wars. There
Yeah.
should be a mom dab board, to be honest with you, because I have they have such a high tolerance
Oh yeah.
with dabs. It's crazy, man. I think for the most part, most women in general can out dab most guys. I think that's a safe bet. I don't know what it
Oh,
is, but I
probably.
think it's a safe bet for us. Yeah, I think it'd make for a good contest. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be honest, dude. I'd be so nervous if to become more public because of my name, to get like called out to do dab shots, and my tolerance on dabs isn't extreme. I I don't do dabs all the time. I do them, but it's not like my main thing. So anyone can outsmoke me, Uh I medicate every day, but I sometimes I smoke much lighter stuff. It all depends, but yeah, like you said, dude, I see a lot of the ladies in the industry just crushing dabs, and just it seems to unfaze them, and I'm like, oh man, if I ever if people started knowing who I was and then I started showing up and then we start smoking dabs together and stuff, I'm be in big trouble because they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, the guy with the actual name's a lightweight.
Oh man, they kicked my ass too, man.
Well, Eagle, I will,
Dude,
thank you so much for letting me come on to your show. I really
well,
appreciate the invite.
there's a couple of things before you go. Couple, mate. It's 1:55. Thank you so much for 2.5 hours of your time, first and
Oh,
foremost.
absolutely, bro.
But just a few more minutes, maybe
Sure.
5 at top, so I can explain a couple of things to you. Well,
Absolutely.
mainly how this thing rolls. Tonight may be one night that it. I'm still on the fence if there's going to be a wormhole tonight. Smiley said he may run one tonight. I'm not for sure on that. But either way, this is how things roll. I don't know if you watched the channel or took some time to check things out, but there's a few versions of what goes on here. There's the spotlight, which we've done, and usually that the show goes from 11:30 to 4:20 is the time slot every night. And
Okay.
so like Monday nights is a guaranteed. It used to be the rabbit hole, but it's now a wormhole. But so if the guest doesn't go full term to the end of the show 4:20, then
Yeah.
the rest of the night will be a wormhole. And because you've done the spotlight, then you are now a permanent invite to the wormhole. So anytime that you see a wormhole on and want to jump in, that's as of now, there's 387 shows, so there's possibility of 387 guests that could pop up at any one night.
Oh,
Never that many or whatever, but that
okay.
just makes for a good conversation, an ever mixing panel, whatnot.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if you get the notification and see the shows on, and then it's indeed a wormhole, and we're talking about something that interests you, and they go from anything from strictly cannabis and technique, lights, all that good shit, to sometimes we squirrel off into psychedelics and conspiracy theories and
Okay.
shit like that. But the Zoom link that you have now is the key to get into the wormhole. So anytime that the wormhole is up and running, you don't need an invite. You just jump on Zoom and say, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And
Awesome.
there's no problem, no video, no problem. There's no give a shits in the wormhole. Just
Okay.
come have some fun and respectful of others, and we're all good. So,
Awesome, man.
and all input in every way helps. Even if it's questions, it all helps spark great conversations. So I hope that, one night you pop on and see something that you want to come brings you to the show again. So I'd
Yeah,
like to see you.
absolutely, man.
That would be pretty awesome. And the last thing I'd like to get from you before you go is what I call the sound bite. And it basically is kind of a commercial for your episode. In my words, of for you, but not, this isn't your soundbite. What I'm looking for is, hey, this is Dabs for Dads, and I'm on fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, episode 387. You can add on your Instagram, whatever you want to that. You know what I mean? This is basically when they hear this, I want them to go, hey, man, that sounds like a cool ass gentleman right there. I'm going to go back and watch that episode. So, at any
Okay,
time, man, I am ready, up and ready for your soundbite. If you could throw me one.
for sure. Hey, what's up? This is Dabs for Dads, and we are fucking talking shit with Eagle channel today. And this is episode 387.
Nice. I greatly appreciate you coming on. Again, like I told you in the beginning of this, we've got to meet another great member in the cannabis community, and hopefully we'll get to see you on the channel again. in a wormhole, or maybe perhaps a second episode if you've got something new going on and you want to
Oh, for
address
sure,
again.
man.
You know,
Yeah,
first,
I can touch base with you in if you I'm gonna try to see if I can get my computer to broadcast from my big operation. Um and then we can talk, because like when I told you, I've done a live before where I wore a mask and stuff and it doesn't bug me. Um so I can broadcast from my room and show you what I got going on, as long as the video quality is good for you, because if it's just total trash, I know how that can be kind of irritating. So, but I just wanted to let you know that too. I was trying to work on that today. It didn't get together in time, but yeah, I it was a pleasure to meet you. Um yeah, I just have to I thank you for even, reaching out to me and having me on in the first place. I really I'm humbled by that, man. I thank you a lot.
like I said, it was an easy choice, man. You're doing some great stuff there on Instagram. If anybody takes the time to look down that page, he's done a lot of good stuff there. Hopefully, man, they've dropped your links to all your works, everything they could find, your artworks, your Instagrams. Hopefully, we've done some good in that, driving some folks over your way. And again, the skull was seller, brother.
Yeah,
I
thank you, man.
did. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm actually, where I'm sitting right now, just on my desk. There's probably a good 20 skulls around me. I'm tattooed from head to toe, and an
Yeah.
uncountable number of skulls. So it drew me in. It drew me in.
Well, I'll tell you what, man,
So
on my Instagram or something, if you shoot me an address or something, and I'll ship you a little bag of some slaps and stuff. And I'd be honored, like later on when I do a big batch of lotion, to ship you one on me so you can try it out. Um, well, hey, if you're a large t-shirt or a 2X, I have some of the last of my Buddha merch. I'd love to ship that to you. If one of those is your size.
it would be a large, but
Oh, you're
it's
a
not
large?
necessary. Yeah, it's not necessary though. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's
I do appreciate it, but it's
it
really cool. I love to support the people that are on the show, and I'll be happy to wear it
it's
on the show.
that's
Show your
this
opinion.
logo if it's swapped.
Oh man, I'm actually, I've got a few Buddhist tats. I'm also yeah, I have a few Buddha tats too. I'm working on a giant Shiva on my left side
Okay.
right now.
It sounds like you need
So
that t-shirt, bro, and I only have one left, so it's for you. So shoot me your information if you don't mind, or just an address or something to ship, and I'll send you a little care package.
be honored to wear that shirt.
Hell
Kick ass
yeah.
shirt, to be honest with you.
You'll get to see what the whole what my whole thing is about, and I'd be happy to do it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll have to send you a shirt back, one of
Hell
mine.
yeah, bro.
Ah, that works both ways. That works both ways. I'd like to return the favor. So yeah, I will indeed do that because I'd love to support that shirt and you, my friend. So
For sure.
thank you
Well,
for
thank you.
coming on, and let's do this again real soon.
Oh, for sure, man. Thank you so much.
You have a good night. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Anything you'd like to say? Anybody, shouting out anybody, your Instagram, some friends or anything before you go?
uh No, I pretty much think we're good. Just the Instagram's the only thing going. So, check out Dabs for Dads.
Uh, all right. Well, thank you again for popping on, and again, we'll see you soon.
All right. See you, brother.
Thank you.
You're
Well,
welcome.
guys, this
You too.
wraps up episode 387. I know you guys have enjoyed this. I've been watching my chat all night long. Thank you, mods, for throwing down links for me. I really appreciate that. So this wraps up this episode. There may or may not be a wormhole episode tonight. Give me a few minutes to kick it around and see what's going on. But if not, you guys know the deal. Random acts of kindness do save lives. Please do something nice for somebody. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow night. I'm out of here.